Northern Colorado. This is Kilo Delta Zero Tango Yankee Uniform, Joe here in Loveland. I'm net control for this evening's TechNet. Looks like you have the C team tonight. Anybody want to check in, please call now.
November 0 Tango Zulu Uniform, N0 TZU, Bob and Bertha.
Mr. News. November 0 November Yankee Bart in Evans.
Good evening, Bart. N0NNY and N0TZ. I think it was you, is that right?
That's correct.
Oh, I got something right. Thanks so much. Anyone else want to check in, please call.
Whiskey 2, Mike, India, Charlie, Mark, Loveland, No Squirrels, one announcement about this week's ham radio lunch, and one request to see if we can arrange a ride for a ham radio lunch.
I got you, Mark. Anyone else?
Cape.
Whiskey Alpha Zero Bravo Foxtrot Delta. Good Samaritan, Loveland, Colorado. No traffic.
Lake. With traffic.
Okay, Jerry, I got you, and then somebody came back and said, with traffic, come back.
Beg pardon, I tried not to do that. KB0YBN, Kilo Bravo 0, Yankee Delta November. Eric, Pinewood Lake, with traffic.
Got you that time, Eric. Thank you, Eric. Thanks so much. Anyone else?
Kilo 0 Hotel Alpha Kilo K0HAK, Dave in Fort Collins.
Got you, Dave. Thanks so much.
Kilo 0 AEM, Steve in Fort Collins.
Steve, did I get this right? K0ABM?
Alpha Echo Mike, sorry.
Oh, Mike, I'm sorry. That's my fault. Thanks so much. Go ahead. Anyone else?
This is Kilo Alpha 6 Echo Tango Echo, Jim in Loveland, and 0 EMP. Craig in Fort Collins. Debbie's out shopping.
I was just about ready to put it down, Greg. Good evening, Greg. Good evening, Jim. Who else?
This is W0KJM, Whiskey 0, Kilo Juliet Mike. Kyle, Loveland, Colorado.
Nice signal, Kyle. Thanks so much. Anyone else?
KG0EXV, Kilo Delta 0, Echo X-Ray Victor, Brian Greeley.
Nice signal, Brian. Thank you. Anyone else?
This is Kilo Foxtrot 0, Bravo Tango Bravo, Pete in Timbers.
Always a pleasure, Pete. Thank you. Anyone else?
Kilo Golf 6 Uniform Delta Tango, Ed and Bertha.
Evening, Ed. Anyone else?
Echo 0 Charlie Foxtrot 0,
You got two of you in there. Good evening, Bill. Good evening, Ben. Thanks so much. Anyone else?
This is Kilo Delta 0, Foxtrot, Quebec, November.
Thank you, Rick. Guess not. KD0FQN. Thanks so much. Anyone else?
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Golf Quebec Hotel, Kent in Wellington.
If you can't, anyone else? We've got a few announcements now, and we got some traffic. Good evening, Mr. Mark, W2MIC. No squirrels, but lots of announcements. Go ahead.
Oh, I have lots of squirrels assaulting my bird feeder full time, but I'm not putting bait in the trap until we get warmer nights. I'm not going to freeze a squirrel. This week is Ham Radio Lunch Week. As some of you may know, every other week we do Ham Radio Lunch, and this is the week. This week, this Wednesday, that would be the 19th of April, which would be the day after Tax Day for those of you who are calendar challenged. We are getting together at Perkins Restaurant in West Loveland, 11:30 a.m. Wednesday, Perkins. The street address for your navigational system is 2222 West Eisenhower Boulevard, 2222 West Eisenhower Boulevard. You do not have to be a ham to attend. You do not have to be a member of NCARC to attend. You do not have to be a member of Aries to attend. But many of the people who attend are members of some or all of the above. I refer to it as TechNet with Lunch because there's so much experience there. If you're wanting to learn about any aspect of ham radio, there's probably somebody there who's done it. So, by all means, come on down. 11:30, we typically break up about 1. Request. UDT down in Berthoud is looking for a ride to ham radio lunch and then home again after. I'm not able to sign up for that because I've got a conflicting doctor's appointment. Can we find someone who can give UDT a ride to lunch and a ride from, please?
M0NYY. If I could get Ed's call correctly and look up the address, I will be happy to pick up Ed and bring him to ham lunch, probably, about maybe 11:10, something like that.
I encouraged him to sign into the TechNet and listen and respond. Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay. That's Kilo Golf 6 Uniform Delta Tango.
At Kilo Golf 6, I was stuck on Charlie for some reason, N0NYY, and I have you up on QRZ, so I see your address on Hummingbird, I assume. And also, if you wish, I don't see your email on here, but if you either have my email address or look me up on QRZ, you will see my email on the very front page. Send me an email. I will send you my phone number, and we can talk that way as well, if you like. N0NYY.
Just talked on the repeater on the way over.
Spoken like a true ham. Will do. N0NYY.
Mark, Joe is a scholar and a gentleman. Back to that.
Anything else from you, Mark?
Nope.
Mark is really nice. He sends me pictures of all the squirrels, or not squirrels, that he's getting, and the raccoons that seem to be turning over the food. That makes my day. Thanks you so much, Mark. I got one thing before we move along here. Let this drop for a minute. The UNC repeater linking project, let's call it. James and I talked in length, and we talked to the board about this on Tuesday night last week. And what I'm doing now is we have a survey of club members that's going around, and only club members, and we're trying to figure out if we should link it permanently, link it temporarily, or not link it at all. Right now I don't have enough to actually tell you where we're at, but I probably will by the next week or so. James is going to be out of town, I think, this week and next, and I'll be getting with him and the board as soon as I have a pretty good handle on what we know. So just thought I'd keep you up to date on actually what we're doing with that. Any questions about that? Okay, someone had some traffic that I missed. Come back.
KB0YDN.
Dan, go ahead.
Okay, well, I could use help with advice, at least, on cleaning a circuit board that got exposed to the elements. It's a Rig Runner 4012, and with last week's unpleasantness, I happened to use the ice scraper on the car and inadvertently rested it on top of the Rig Runner. And as the ice melted, it got inside of it and took the gunk with it. And the gunk formed around the conductors of the driver transistor on the sound alert. And they're covered with black and gray goo, and I need to clean that off because the sound alert was going off all the time, whether you had the jumper in place or not. Now, what I've been doing so far is I've sprayed it with deoxit, and I'm planning to do some cleanup with maybe 1% alcohol. And I'm wondering if there's any reason not to continue down that road. Whether that alarm works or not is irrelevant. The main part of the board, the distribution of power, is unbothered. That is the part that counts for me. KB0YDN.
Eric, you're really, really noisy. I don't know if you got a bad connection or whatever, but I think we got enough of that maybe to have it answered. Anybody can help Eric out? Go ahead.
N0MP.
Go right ahead, Greg.
I would recommend washing it, opening up the case. It sounds like you already have. but washing everything under hot running water out of the kitchen tap on full hot, because with the ice and road crud there was probably salt or magnesium chloride, which are water soluble, but they're not alcohol soluble and they're not WD-40 soluble. I would wash everything under hot running water till it looked clean and use a clean toothbrush if need be, and then shake the water off and immediately flood everything with 99% isopropyl alcohol, available inexpensively from Ace Hardware, to displace the water. I would not use WD-40. Some people are a fan of WD-40. I would not use WD-40 on it because it's just going to make more of a cleanup problem. I use hot running water followed by 99% isopropyl and then air dry it, and 0 EMP.
KD0YDN.
Okay, go ahead, Eric. You sound better.
I didn't change anything, but I'm hearing it on the sludge tail. While I'm transmitting, can somebody look at my signal into the repeater, see if there's an issue on that end, or maybe there's an issue somewhere else. I'm not using WD-40, absolutely not. I'm using Deoxit.
Hey, from the WD-40 comment was for the benefit of someone else who had a water damage issue and used WD-40. I wouldn't personally do that.
Agreed.
Greg, I see absolutely why you said that, because I have heard people that did use that.
MIC.
Go right ahead, Greg. Or sorry, Mark. Go ahead.
Eric, I've been down this particular road, and if you request, I will bring a gallon of 100% isopropyl alcohol to ham radio lunch on Wednesday, and you can use as much as you need to and return the rest to me at a subsequent ham radio lunch, should you so wish.
I don't know that I need that much. I would suppose that if you could put like a pint into a bottle, a clean bottle, that would be great. A gallon is a little unwieldy, but thank you. Yeah, please.
BT.
Jim?
Yeah, I just wanted to let Eric know. I just pulled up the monitor for Horsetooth. His signal into the repeater is very, very weak. It's the scale we have goes from 0 to 255, where most people are 250 plus. His signal in is about 25 to 30. But what's strange is I'm able to receive him on the reverse. I'm not sure where he's located at. I can get him direct simplex at about an S2, S3 at my house, which, depending on where he's at, that would cause the weak signal into the repeater.
I am in Pinewood Lake, so I am over a ridge from the rest of you. So getting to you at all is knife edge, but that has not been a problem so far. Hopefully this is, well, I hope that it's not a problem. I am not seeing a change in SWR on my end.
Comment.
Go ahead with your comment.
KD0F2N. Hey, Eric, I would try the Lee Hill machine from your place. You could probably go straight into it, and it's linked. Because, yeah, it is real weak today. I can hear 3 or 4 of these guys on the reverse, but I'm not hearing you at all. Just my comment. KD0F2N back there.
Frequency?
447750, I believe. I don't know what the tone is off the top of my head. I'm sure 10 people know.
Okay, well, I will try. I will be over there.
The frequency Lee Hills 447.750 with a 141.3 tone.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, give us a shout when you get back, Eric, and maybe we can talk a little bit better to you. Yeah, you're probably having a lot of trouble with that, for sure. Any other comments for Eric? Yeah, I've had that happen too, where we've had stuff that my thing was our last HF extravaganza, so to speak, and had a friend of ours drop coffee into a power supply that unfortunately was a cheap one, or fortunately was a cheap one, but it didn't seem to do much damage because I let it sit for a couple weeks, I think, and then we turned her on. It was fine, so that kind of happens. Any other questions or comments for the net? Please call. Okay, well, I'm going to raise one. We'll talk a little bit about sound cards, and digital stuff. Of course, I have got two signal links that we're using for various things, FTH/WinLink/whatever. But my 1200 died, so it's out now, getting repaired, and I'm running an 857. And our good friend Bob, W0BNC, mentioned DigiRig. Has anybody used one of those? K6ET, you've never used one of those? That surprises me.
I never used one simply because I know a few people that have used them because they're adaptable with Android devices and that, where all of my devices are Apple devices, so they're not very user-friendly for me to use. So I've stuck with the Signal Links and all the other ones.
Does anybody know very much about them? I know they're actually made, I think, in down south someplace, aren't they? Grand Junction? Well, I don't know. I guess in order to use this to record anything, you have to use the cat port. And of course, I'm using the cat port for a tuner. But I'm going to have to take that off and just get the antenna right, and then use it for this. I guess it's a simple thing instead of going through a signal link. So they're cheap enough for sure. They're about half the price of a signal link. Sure, anybody's never heard of this thing?
I've heard of it. I've never used it.
Yeah, Bob kind of scared me taught it, and I started looking at it today, so that's it. You know, it wasn't too bad. Kind of let you know that we have booked the HF seminar for June 9th, which happens to be a Saturday, or happens to be a Friday. It's going to be in the evening, and I'm going to put that on the website pretty quick or something like that. Let's talk about NVIS antennas and things like that. Let's kick this off. What's new in the NVIS world, Mr. Greg?
Well, NVIS has been around since, like, the 1940s, World War II, so really nothing new. It works at various times of the day and various times of the year, depending on what the sun is doing, between about 2 megahertz and up to 11 or 12 megahertz sometimes. Within that range, we have 3 amateur radio allocations, 80, 60, and 40, and at the right time of the day, it'll work there. You want a horizontal antenna or a shallow inverted V, meaning not a steep angle, a shallow angle, kind of like halfway between a horizontal dipole and a regular, what you'd regularly think of as an inverted V. And from what I've read and what my experience has been, although they will work very low to the ground sometimes, I've been getting more consistent results if I keep it 15 feet off the ground, especially in the middle. If it's a shallow inverted V, 15 feet in the middle and 9 feet at the end, so it's high enough no one will touch it. That'll be just fine. And 0 EMP.
I guess I have a question about that. We talked about using a couple of ham sticks opposing, making basically a dipole out of the thing. Can you use it in the vertical? Can you use a ham stick in the vertical position if you choose to put in radios and stuff like that and keep it at a lower level? And what would that level be if it would work?
I'm glad you mentioned ham sticks. I think it was Jim, ETE, that tried a dual ham sticks, and I think he's in here. So he tried dual horizontal ham sticks yesterday on the AriasNet. It didn't seem to work very well, although by the time the AriasNet was happening yesterday, we were losing 80 meters already, so that may have not been a fair test. Let me reset this. A vertical ham stick, even a low vertical ham stick, the radiation is going to go out to the sides. It's not going to go up. So if you're trying to talk to someone close in to you, like in the same county, it's not going to work. If you're trying to talk from here to Grand Junction, where you have like a 45-degree launch angle, yeah, then it'll start to work. But for real close-in NVIS, like within Larimer and Weld counties together, or in and out of the canyons here in Larimer County during an event, the vertical will not work.
MIC.
Mark?
W2MIC. While the kids up in the mountains have been testing NVIS with their horizontal dipoles, I have been listening and attempting to communicate off of my HF gap vertical. Zero success.
And BTE.
Go ahead, Jim.
To Greg, to add to that, I have the MFJ Octopus antenna, which takes 8 ham sticks with 4 different bands. You put them all opposing sides, 80 meter, I was running 80 meter, 40 meter, 20 meter, and 15 meter. And yesterday morning for the Aries HF net, receive on it was near perfect. Out of 27 check-ins on the HF net, which is all NVIS around Colorado for the most part, unless you get out to Grand Junction and that, then it is possible not to be NVIS, but out of 27 people that checked in, I successfully copied 25 of them with a signal, readability score of 3, 4, 5. Probably 85% of them were a 5 readability for signal level coming in. Bob, W0BNC, was not able to copy me yesterday morning on the HF net. However, the testing continued yesterday late afternoon, early evening, and into last night. Let me let this reset. When the band conditions improved, we started on 40 meter around 6:30 in the evening. Me and Bob were able to carry on a full conversation, receiving each other S9 plus both directions. After the 8 o'clock Aries VHF net, me and Bob got onto 80 meters. The band was starting to come back around for NVIS propagation, and we were both able to carry on a conversation, albeit the signal strength was about half of what 40 meter was. The band was just starting to come back in, so we were a little bit early, which I figure if we would have given it another half hour when the band was fully in, it would have been a lot easier to hold a good conversation. But we did prove that it does work between me and him. I'm waiting to get the results from the Can You Hear Me Now portion of the Aries HF net to see how many stations around the state were able to copy me. But as far as receive, it works great for NVIS propagation. And it also works great for DX if you raise it up to 25 feet. Let me let this reset. Yesterday afternoon, I was playing on 15 meter and 20 meter. On 15 meter, had contacts all over continental U.S., Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Cuba, Mexico, Canada. And on 20 meter, I had contacts into Finland, South Africa, another one in Hawaii, Alaska, and as well as all over the continental U.S. So they do work. It is possible to use 2 ham sticks as a horizontal dipole.
It's good to hear QIU with the TechNet. So you were you were running an Octopus, of course, and you say you were at 15 feet.
For the NVIS testing and that, I had it lowered down to 15 feet. I have it mounted on a fiberglass extendable mast. NVIS was at 15 feet when I was doing everything else going around from coast to coast. In DX, I raised it up to 25 feet to get a little bit higher for more outward propagation.
That's interesting. One other question I got for you guys, as far as 40 meters is usually dead for sideband, and then it picks up in the evening. Why is it that NVIS actually works better during the day on 40 meters compared to like sideband?
Well, it is sideband, but what do you mean when you say that 40 meters is dead? When is it dead?
Well, normally, if the sunspots aren't there, 40 meters is not something that you would do during the day. You'd hit 20 meters and then you'd move on to 40 just because the propagation's better. At night on 40, it's basically, they call it a night band. So I guess I shouldn't have said sideband. I should have said DX or out of the state.
I've always considered that to be true of 80 meters, that 80 meters is the nighttime band, and it goes away later in the morning when D-layer absorption picks up. And by then we've got 60 and 40 meters. And I'm looking right now at the most current ionogram, and we've got, we still have 40 meters right now. It's starting to go away, but when Randy, I'm drawing a blank, Randy Long, AVV, had to spend a winter in Utah. Let me reset this. It's my understanding that he and Bart in the 0NYY did 40-meter NVIS all day long every day until about sunset, when all of a sudden it would go blip and be gone. So 40-meter daytime NVIS, yes.
NYY. I had many very long conversations with Randy while he was in Utah on 40 meters. That was the only band I had a NVIS antenna for. And usually around through the wintertime, around 3:30 or 4 in the afternoon, you'd get kind of a warbly chirp to one of the signals, and the next signal wouldn't go through at all. I mean, it just shut like a door. So 40 meters did work very well for us from, I never got on really early, so I don't know what time it started. Typically it was 9:30 or 10, and then through about, like you said, 3:30 or 4 in the afternoon during the winter time. I also have on order, but they have yet to ship, a pair of 60-meter ham sticks, and they have a dual stick mount for those, but they haven't shipped yet. And when they get here, I'm very anxious to characterize 60 a little bit more.
I don't know who is back there, but go ahead.
Sorry, I wasn't speaking loud enough. N0TZU. I just wanted to say that I believe your question, if I didn't mishear it, was why does 40 meters work for NVIS when during the day it tends to be not as good for long distance DX? Is that essentially your question?
That is correct.
Okay. The reason is that 40 meters still suffers from D-layer absorption, certainly not as much as 80 or especially 160, but it still has some, which is why during the day it tends to be more of a regional band, or maybe I should say a continental band, North America type thing, but not really off into Europe. Okay, sorry, I guess we find it out. Anyway, I think you got the gist of my response. So with NVIS, you're only going straight up and straight down, and you get through the D-layer quickly, whereas for DX, you're going obliquely through the layer because the angle is a lot shallower, and so the signal gets a lot more deabsorption. So did that answer your question?
Absolutely, that's what I was hoping.
Okay, great. N0TZU.
For that, I do appreciate that. That's exactly what I was thinking of, and it does make a lot of sense. I kind of knew that, but I just wanted to verify that that's right. Any other comments?
Okay, they're up to him.
Go ahead, Rick.
I was going to say not yesterday and Saturday, but I believe it was the week in before. I don't know who all was over there, but over at Larimer County EOC after the Aries meeting, I guess they were doing some NBIS stuff over there as well. I was just sitting at the house, and I mean, talk about the embarrassed hearing anything. I heard Mark Sheets a couple of times. I could make out his call sign. I couldn't tell much more than that. The second he left there and was almost to Highway 34, he just came alive, like 5'9" alive, all the way over to the airport. Marty, same thing when he left and headed towards Highway 34. I heard him all the way to his house up in Wellington. We talked. They put the EOC in a bad spot. Now, if they do an NVIS antenna on top of that roof, I don't know if it'd be considered NVIS unless, I guess if you kept it low to the roof, I guess it could still be its ground plane or whatever. So it might have enough elevation at that point that it gets out of that hole. It was deaf over there. I don't know if you guys were hearing the same thing on your end during that test or whatnot. It was terrible at my house over.
Question.
Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, for the guy that was having a hard time hearing them on their testing, what is your antenna, your Huss?
It's a 9-to-1 Unknown, maybe 15 feet at the house, and it might be 20, 25 max at the top of the trees, so it slopes upwards from the house on 85 feet.
Okay, I just want to be sure it is a horizontal antenna, though, yes?
Oh, definitely. It's higher than the ones, I was using, like out at Marty's. At Marty's, I was only 8 feet high on the ends. It's about 5'6", I think, where it drooped in the middle, and it was working fine up into Rattlesnake, Pinewood, up to Pinewood Reservoir, and then and out to you up in Mishawaka.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't at the thing at the Aries deal. I don't know what went on, although I had heard that some of the home stations that were trying to monitor it had vertical antennas, so that's, of course, not going to work well. NVIS, you really need both stations to have NVIS antennas, so I just wanted to verify that. And 0 EMP.
All right, yeah, no, it's definitely horizontal. I thought it was a good place to test from. Marty said they were going to be over there Saturday, so like I say, EOC, that little circle right there didn't work. The second they were sitting at the light by 34, came to life. What is that? Not even 1,000 yards away. Just like moving 2 feet with a 2 meter, I guess. KD0FQN back to net.
Any other comments? Go ahead. Got a question for Jim or Bart, whichever. Are ham sticks getting hard to find?
The 60-meter ham sticks are pretty hard to find. Doesn't seem like anybody carries them in stock. I found some from Quicksilver. They said they were in stock, but by the time they received my order, there were none in stock. And the guy says, well, when they get here, I'll ship them. I don't know when they get here.
Thanks, Bart. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, I was going to say the exact same thing Bart did. 60-meter hard to find, as well as 12 and 17 are hard to find. 30 meters hard to find. It seems like the warp bands are the hard ones to come by. The 10, 20, 40, 80 are all readily available, but the other ones are hard to find for some reason right now. When you do find them, if you're going to buy them, don't hesitate to hit the Purchase Now button.
Isn't there only 2 companies that are making those now?
There are about 4 or 5 companies making them. There's the Shark Sticks, MFJ makes their own, Hamstick. There's 4 or 5 companies that make them, and they're all the same. I don't know what the deal is with it, but I think it's just supply and demand. They concentrate on the popular bands that everyone wants, which are 10 and 20 and 40 mostly.
And why?
Go ahead, Bart.
So, for those that don't know, ham sticks are 3/8 diameter fiberglass rods with a certain amount of wire wound upon them for loading to give you an electrical length. Then there's a 4-foot stainless steel web that can be slid in and out of the metal fitting at the top of the ham stick, which is connected to that wire. Fiberglass rods, 4 foot in length, are $2 a piece at Home Depot. If I can find or make the threaded bottom end and the tapered top end where the set screws are, I am going to see if I can't produce some ham sticks. The prices on these things are crazy. I've seen prices as low as about $29, but if you order the 60-meter one, there's an additional $10 charge, so it becomes $39. That's just, it's a little bit crazy. Making the fittings is the kind of thing that I would enjoy doing. I'm just not prepared to do it just yet, but when I am, we'll see if we can't get some Barton sticks out in the field and zero and YY back to that.
K0HAK.
HAK, go ahead.
So I know you can get, I think they're little ferrules is what they're called, Bart. They're actually designed just for what you're talking about, where they take a fiberglass rod and then they just have a screw mount in the bottom of them. So you might look into that so that you don't have to fabricate anything. Go ahead.
I had done one preliminary search for that and not found any. If you have any sources, I would welcome that information. But we could do that outside of the net. And zero and YY, thank you.
I like the name, Bart. Bart Sticks. I think that would be so cool.
WNBA.
I think that was you, Ivan. Go ahead.
Yeah, Bart comes up with a decent idea. How about bringing it up to Aero Antennas up there in Wyoming there, and maybe he could produce them.
I have a lathe out in the garage. I just can't get to it right at the moment. I need to fix that problem. And zero in my way.
You can always do like I do. Just crawl over the top until you get to it.
Hey, Ivan, does Tim still own that?
I don't know. I didn't get personal with them. I just know they're close by here, antenna fabricator.
Yeah, I've been to his shop. Of course, we dealt with him with the Ham Fest, but I actually went out there and bought an antenna from him, and he took me for a tour at his shop. It's great. He's a great guy, and I think he still does own it. But hopefully, we'll see him at the Ham Fest here soon. I hope. Did I double with somebody?
Possibly me. I have another comment.
Go right ahead.
W0 DMR guys are working on a 900 megahertz repeater. If anybody is interested in brushing off that 900 megahertz gear and giving it a shot, working on it here in the next couple of weeks. So I'll get you back with a frequency here. We've already got it ready to go. Just a matter of getting up the hill.
Where are you going to put it?
Oh, it'll be up on Horsetooth.
Okay, cool.
Not linked, though, just standalone FM for now.
Any other comments, questions for the net? Please call.
K0HAK for N0NYY.
Go ahead, sir.
Send you an email. The trick is to look for CB antenna ferrule, and you'll find a bunch of search results that way. K0HAK.
Sorry, I was in the kitchen refilling my drink. Thank you very much, and I saw the email come in. Thank you very much.
Well, let me know, Bart. I'll be your first customer. Any other comments or questions for the net? Please call.
Hey, E.T.
Go ahead, Jim.
Well, Bart, we will see who gets the 60-meter first. I just got a notification that HRO had the MFJ 1660s, which is the 60-meter ham stick in stock, so order was just placed.
I missed a piece of that, Jim. Where did you say they were in stock?
HRO ham radio outlet.
I'm coming up on my second week of waiting for Quicksilver. I may cancel that order if I can get a pair on the way from HRO. Thank you. And they're on my way.
They are showing right now. Currently, every location has them in stock. So they must have just got a big shipment in of them. I know last week when I looked, they had 0 anywhere.
What are they getting for them, Jim?
$39.95 a piece with a, if you have them shipped, the additional $17 oversized or regular handling charge, or if you pick them up, no charge. But my theory is my time and not having to drive to Denver and potentially spending a lot more money is worth the $17 handling fee.
That seems like a lot for $50, but you're right. And they're on the south end of Denver, so it doesn't make it much easier.
Yeah, and like I said, anytime I go to HRO in person, the potential for me spending excessive amounts of money is very high. So the $17 is worth not driving there through Denver to the other side of Denver and not taking the chance of spending any additional money.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how that goes, because I kind of like the ham stick. Darren kind of got me involved with that, and I'm going to set up one here pretty quick. If the weather doesn't get too bad by the end of the week, and I don't think it will, but who knows. Any other comments, questions, please call. Okay, well, let's wrap up Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club TechNet. I thank everybody. We had about 22 check-ins, and that lasted about 52 minutes. Thank everybody. Remember, Wednesday nights our club meeting, Club Net, and then, of course, Thursdays the Aries Net. By the way, we still have quite a few openings. Darren was wrong about that. He told me Saturday. We do have quite a few openings for our rosin core, which is May 27th. I have about seven, let's see, from 9 to noon we have 7, and we have 1 in the afternoon from 1 to 4. We're building a dipole, a 20 and 40 meter dipole. For $25, you can't beat the price. We're going to tune it and everything. So, like you to come, get on the website and go to Sign Up Genius and do this. So if nothing else, thanks so much. The repeater's open for Jim Eves. This is Katie Zucchi. Well, you're going to be clear. Everybody have a great week.
This presentation was brought to you by the Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club. For more information, visit our website, ncarc.net. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.